Hi, guys. Welcome back to the podcast. We are so excited you're here. Now, listen, this is what I have to tell you. We have done this many times, okay? For whatever reason, when we come to record the recaps, we have so many issues. We don't know why. And so we're trying a different format here, and we're hoping that it's going to be great. So, if you are here, we're glad you're here. If we stumble through, with all the technical difficulties, please bear with us because we are
Yeah.
just as annoyed.
We'll get it figured out before the next episode.
Yes. So make sure you have something warm and yummy to drink. And today we're going to talk about all the books that we read for the month of April. So I'm going to start off with Eight Cousins. We read this book we both read this book, and it's a cute story about an orphan girl. It's Eight Cousins by Louisa May Alcott. And wow, that sounded really country. But she is left orphaned and is left in the care of her uncle. And she goes to live on Aunt Hill. And she has all these cute adventures with her cousins who are all boys. And it's just a fun, cute little book. But I think you would agree with me, like as an adult reading this in my own personal reading time, it wasn't really something that I really enjoyed. I did
Yeah.
tab a lot of pages you'll see, but that's just mainly I like the way that Louisa May Alcott words different things. And so um yeah, it was cute. Anything
Yeah.
else you want to say about this one?
I think it would be good for a read aloud with your family
Yeah.
or just to hand a young girl. She'd probably enjoy that as well. There are her cousins are boys. So there's a boy element to it. So I think if you have boys and girls, it would be a good family read aloud, but it's definitely for I don't want to say young crowd, but elementary
Yeah.
age. Yeah.
Yeah, it's cute. It's clean. It's, everything that Louise May Alcott is. So, okay. The next book I'm going to talk about is this month. I don't know, this year I have just kind of been back into a reread phase. I don't really know why, but that's where I'm at right now. I picked this one back up, and mainly because we've talked about it a few times on here and talked about how we really love Frederick Bachman and this particular series, which is 3 books. And it's Beartown by Frederick Bachman. And I wanted to say this because I feel like there needs to be a caveat, because I feel like if someone were to pick this up, um, they probably would judge my reading choices, maybe. But what I want to say is this book does have a lot of language. So if that's something that really bothers you, and you can't swallow or tolerate or whatever, or just maybe you're convicted of it, whatever. Um, this book does have a lot of that in there. There is also a lot of I would say like teenage locker room type of talk in here. And so yeah, so why would I rate this 5 stars, and why would I love this book so much? I love how he writes, and I love his storylines. Um, and while it's not something that I prefer, like I don't prefer a lot of language, it makes sense for it to be in this book. Um, if I could say that, I don't know if everybody will be on board with that, but it makes sense. It's not a forced situation where like someone's trying to use a whole lot of language to be cool or to get high ratings or whatever. Um, it just it just works with this one is all I'm gonna say. And so that is Beartown with Frederick Bachman by Frederick Bachman. Now, in the same vein, I'm going to talk about another book that I read. This is not a reread, but this is a book where there was a lot of language and a lot of just, I don't know, like really weirdly placed conversations that didn't really make a lot of sense for it to be there. And that annoys me. That really annoys me. I can tolerate language when it doesn't feel like, hey, I'm a teenager trying to be cool. So this one is This Time Tomorrow by Emma Stroud. And This is a cute story about, it's a time travel book. Her father is dying. You find that out in the very beginning of the story. And there is the time travel element is really confusing, so it's really hard to explain, like most of those types of books are.
Yeah.
But she goes back. So whenever she time travels, she always goes back to her 16th birthday. And what she's trying to eventually do is heal her dad, like present time. And so she goes back and she tells him these different things like, you need to eat healthier, you need to quit smoking. And she's trying, um, just to help him make better choices. But anyways, it is a sweet story. I did tear up. I did like the storyline. I just didn't like all of the extra stuff that didn't really seem to fit. And yeah, so that is that one. And then I also reread We Were the Lucky Ones by, wow, that was really dusty, by Georgia Hunter.
Did you
And
actually read it?
I did, but anyways. This is such a sweet book. This is a story of a family during World War II who gets separated. And they go through all of these like really terrible things. And it's their journey to finding one another um, at the end of the war. So this is a great story of resilience and survival, and it's just such a sweet ending. And I really love this book a lot. I loved it more the second time that I read it. So,
And I
and
have
there
to
is
say
a yeah.
yes, the show is coming out right now on Hulu. And I know you haven't watched it, but I have been watching it and it's really well done.
Okay. I'm
So,
still on the fence if I'm going to do it or not. There are a lot of scenes that are in this book that are etched in the fibers of my brain um, from reading it the first time and hit me
yeah.
just as hard the second time. And then I also read Fostered by Tori Hope Peterson. This was a reread for me too. It is not very big. I think it's probably, yeah, it's like not even 200 pages. Um, this book was a book that I picked back up because I remembered I'm working on my own story. I'm typing, I'm doing a lot of work like that. And I remembered how I loved the tone of her book. And so I thought it would be good to pick it up and kind of, I don't know, study her writing. But the way that she tells her story, which is heartbreaking, her story is very heartbreaking. She was in the foster care system, and me just saying that is enough for you to picture kind of what her life was like. But the way that she tells her story with such grace and hope is something that I really desire to do. So it's not written from a place of bitterness, um, but she's very, very direct in some of the things that she talks about and things that she shares. And I just really, really appreciate that about her story. So that's Fostered by Tori Hope Peterson. And yeah, that is my pile. So do we want to break this up a little bit and talk about something we're loving?
Yes.
What are you loving, Rachel?
Okay, so well, my loving is for my birthday, Katie, um, which is Raven's oldest daughter, painted me Green Gables. And it's this huge, I mean, obviously it's super huge, and I would love to put it back behind my books over here so that it would be in my shot for every
Yeah.
podcast. I will work on that. But I love that. And then
Yeah.
the other thing that we both super loved is for our collective birthdays, because our birthdays are only a couple weeks apart, we went and saw Jane Eyre. So we, in the last episode with Jackie, we kind of mentioned that we were all wearing matching shirts, but we didn't say like why. And so after we filmed that podcast, we went and had a day of shenanigans, going on a book crawl to a bunch of different bookstores, and then we went to eat at a fantastic English pub, and then we went and saw a Jane Eyre play, which was at the Alley Theater in Houston, and it was amazing.
It was so
So
fun.
it was so much fun. I stole your
Yes.
thunder on that, but that I really enjoyed that.
Yeah, that was a blast. And speaking of Jane Eyre, I will also share a painting that Katie gave to me for my birthday, which is Jane Eyre, a scene from Jane Eyre as she's walking up to Thornfield. And
I love
so
that
I
one.
loved that. And then also, I was going to share something that I don't think that I've shared on the podcast, but I have this coaster set. I
Mm-hmm.
don't know if you can see it, but they're like library cards. Well, yeah, like library,
Oh,
you know,
cute.
check in and
Yeah,
out.
that's so
And
cute.
there's a few different little styles of them, but I don't know if you can see them. But anyways, they're very cute and I love them and I keep them in the living room. And mainly not necessarily for coaster use, just because I think they're cute.
And we
So,
also have the same.
okay, are y'all ready for this? This is a treat.
So I posted these on Instagram last week and they're on sale, or they were. I'll post the link.
So if you want to be cool like us, click the
They're
link and
motion sickness glasses. So they're supposed to help you not get motion sickness in the car. Something to do about the horizon because you can see the water moves, but they do not have, I thought they had lenses. They do not have lenses. It's literally just holes around your eyes and then on the
yeah,
sides. I don't know the science. I don't understand the science behind it. And I have not
I don't
gotten a
know.
chance to test them out yet. So
But there is a
I'll keep you
coupon.
posted. Yes. So they were only $6 and it was worth it for me to try because I get really bad car sickness, whether I'm reading
Yeah,
or not. Like, so
yeah. All right. So, Rachel,
okay. So I finished a couple, I think I had 6 books this month. I read Eight Cousins, and then I finished some big, we're pretty much done with school next week. So I finished the history book that
that
we
is
read this
impressive.
year. It is almost 900 pages. It's a Patriots history of the United States. It's super huge. It's not written as a curriculum book, but what we do for homeschool, it's the history curriculum that we use for 11th grade. And I've been leading Wyatt's class this year, and so I got the pleasure of reading it with him,
Yay!
so we could discuss it in class. It goes all the way from 1492 to 2018. Um, I will say that it has a conservative leaning perspective. So it was interesting to me, a product of public school and all the things that I learned growing up taking history classes at public school. There's a lot of interesting perspectives in here that I had never thought of or heard of. There's a lot of people and situations that I had never heard of. So if you're looking for a good book to use as a history curriculum for a high school level um, student, and I would definitely say upper level high school, because there's some very mature topics in here as history is.
Yeah.
There's some hard stuff. It's good to know, but it's hard stuff. But anyway, so it was very interesting. And it brought up a lot of good discussions. But like I said, it's pretty chunky. So we went through it pretty quickly. Um, so it felt like a fire hose of history, which I love history. And even for me, it was like, I can't keep all of these people straight. But if I was going to do it again, I would probably do it slower, but I would totally use that book again. And I plan to use it with my daughter. So the other curriculum book that I finished is The Consequence of Ideas by R.C. Sproul, which I love R.C. Sproul. I love his ministry, which is Legionnaire Ministry.
Mhm.
Is that how you say it? I feel like I always say it
Legionnaire.
wrong.
Legionnaire.
Legionnaire. There you go.
Yeah.
I always say it wrong, but this is a book about philosophers. And so R.C. Sproul was a very, very godly theologian. And so he has a lot of teaching resources. And this was I think he got it. He like wrote it for like a Sunday school class that he was doing. You can actually watch the videos online of him teaching a Sunday school class, going through all of them. But what it does is it takes philosophers over the course of all of history and kind of talks about um, different philosophers that had um, ideas that kind of shaped the culture and like the trajectory. So it starts with like Plato, Socrates, and you end up with Freud and Darwin, and just kind of the scope of this guy thought this guy thought
Mhm.
this. I will say that in reading this, I'm not a philosopher. It was very hard for me to understand a lot of the times what they were talking about, because it felt like they were talking in circles. Um, kind of, like what is the I don't know, what is the concept of these big like earth and the meaning of life kind of questions. And you're like,
Yeah.
I just don't know. I'm just trying to get through my day. But anyways, with God's grace. So I didn't super love that book. I think if I was going to recommend an R.C. Sproul book, it would be a different one than that. But if you're looking to find a curriculum pick for covering philosophy, that's a great one to go with. Um, so then my other books that are not school related were I finished Nuclear War, a Scenario by Annie Jacobson. And I feel so bad for you because now you've had to listen to me complain about it so many times. But I
Okay.
gave this one a 2 star. Annie Jacobson is normally one of my favorite authors. I pre-bought this. I pre-ordered this. Um, because I love her stuff. I find it's nonfiction, always super weird. This is kind of like my weirdo
This is the
turn off.
time and place that Rachel should put her tinfoil hat on.
Yes. So I enjoy these weird dives that Annie Jacobson does. And I was actually really looking forward to this one. But she wrote this one in a completely different way than she normally writes, or how she's written her past books, which is normally like just kind of going through the history of whatever topic she's doing. So she did like Operation Paperclip. She has done one on Area 51. I haven't actually read that one, but then she did one on like Iraqi soldiers and how they used uh biotechnology, whatever.
Yeah, yeah.
So really, really interesting topics, but this one was told from a hypothetical situation. It is called Nuclear War, a Scenario. That should have been my first clue. But so it's like a hypothetical situation. And I just found it to be very, very daunting and depressing. And at every turn, it would be whoever was in charge was going to make the most extreme decision. And then she would talk about like, so then it would be like what the fallout from that would be. Um, and it just was not, I made myself finish it, but it is definitely my least favorite book by her. And I gave it a 2, so I wouldn't even recommend it to anybody. The only reason I didn't give it a 1 is because it is Annie Jacobson. And she does
Yeah.
have little chunks here, like sprinkled throughout of actual facts and history. I just don't know why she didn't write the whole book like that. I didn't like the pretend scenario. So after I finished that one, I then flipped gears and read Really Very Crunchy by Emily Morrow. And this book is hysterical. She's an influencer on Instagram and all the things. And she does like what is it, like satirical videos of
Yeah.
crunchy people, which crunchy people, if you don't know that term, is kind of like hippie-ish, not staying away from seed oils and doing essential oils and like non-toxic and all of that kind of stuff. And so
But to the extreme, I feel like
yes,
like
her videos.
everybody should be on this.
Right.
Yeah.
Her videos are really funny. So I kind of wasn't sure how she was going to go with her book. But she starts right out of the gate of like, I'm not trying to make anybody feel bad. Being crunchy is on a spectrum. You pick the things that are important to you at the time. Like very, very, very
Yeah.
gracious, I guess is what I'm looking for. But I gave it a 4 stars. It was hysterical. I laughed so many times. And she reads the audiobook. So I got the audiobook, which is on Spotify. You don't
Oh,
have to if the library hold is too long. Um,
that's good
so
to know.
yeah, if you're paying for a Spotify account, there are audiobooks on there. I know I talked about this a long time ago with Simile. There is a cap of you can't listen to more than 15 hours a month. Don't ask me how I know. But this book was only like, I don't know, 5, 8 hours. So
Yeah, it's not very
you'll
long.
be fine. But it was hysterical. And she reads it with voices and it's just super funny. Her husband does do like little blurbs at the end of each chapter,
Oh,
which
funny. He's
was
so
also
funny.
funny, and he reads it too. Like it's just the audiobook was very, very well done. So if you are just looking for something fun to listen to, highly recommend this. And again, she doesn't make you feel bad about it. It's more kind of like just giving you information of like, hey, toilet paper is made with old receipts and is bleached. And you could, if you wanted to, you could try bamboo or a bidet or something, but she tells it in a very funny way. And I didn't feel after I read it, I didn't feel like I needed to, like overhaul my life or anything like that. And then at the end I squeaked in one more book. My mom is coming into town tonight. We have my son's senior ring ceremony. He's at the end of his junior year. So my mom's in town. So I was like mad cleaning. So I was able to finish a book listening to audiobooks. And it's called One Woman's War by Christine Wells. It's a World War II book based on Mrs. Moneypenny, which is apparently a character from Bond. The guy that wrote Bond worked with this lady. Um, and so the book is based on her story. And so um obviously there's like some espionage stuff going on. And it really follows two different women, but I gave it a 3 stars. It wasn't bad. My mom and my aunt have both read it and they really liked it. I just it was just kind of just another World War II historical fiction book for me. It wasn't like wowza. I would not put it in
Yeah.
the same vein as like We Were the Lucky Ones. Kind of like earth-shattering story. But if you're just looking for a good historical fiction book, I would recommend it. It just wasn't like a top favorite for me.
Okay.
So that was my April.
Fun.
Yeah.
Okay. Well, that was fun to do again.
Third time. I know I felt like I
Uh,
kind of speed ran that, but I'm so tired of talking about these books.
yeah, we are, yeah,
Yeah.
hoping to not have much editing to do on this one. So we were trying to be very efficient. Um, but we're
Yes.
glad you guys joined us today.
Yes.
And is
And
there
we're
anything else we need
going
to
to
talk about?
do, yes, so we're going to do a giveaway when we
Yes.
get to 100 followers on Instagram.
We have a fun book to read with your kids. So this is one that Jackie recommended. It's one of her favorite books. So she recommended that on the last episode. And so it's Summer of the Monkeys by Wilson Rawls. And he's also the author who wrote Where the Red Fern Grows. And so, yeah, we're going to be watching, I guess, all of our spaces, our 2 spaces, Instagram. And we'll do some sort of giveaway and give this to someone who will enjoy it with their kids. So I plan on reading it with my kids this summer.
I think I'm going to try to do it with mine even. And mine are older, but I think it'll be fun. Did you know there's a movie?
There is a
Like an
movie, yeah.
old movie. Oh, okay.
Yeah, there's
I
a
was
movie
looking
too.
for the
So
book and it popped up with a movie suggestion. I was like, I didn't even know there was a movie.
yeah,
So that would be fun if you want to do a book club with people too, is you could read the movie and then you could
you can
you
read the
could read the
book.
book and then watch the you could try to read the movie. I don't know how that would go. But
Turn the captions on.
that would be fun too. So yeah, after we get to 100 on Instagram, we'll figure out the giveaway because yes.
Yeah.
But so if you are watching us on YouTube and you're not following us on Instagram, the link to our Instagram page is in the description of the video. And if you're already following us, you could share it with friends
That would
if
be
you haven't
delightful.
already. But also share like the actual podcast as well. So,
Yeah, for sure. Okay.
okay.
Well, this has been fun.
Yes, thanks everybody for sticking with us. If the quality of this one is not great, I apologize and it will be better next time. But I can't film this again. Just
No.
so hopefully going into May will be great. Also, I guess I want to throw out there too. So we plan to do every week, every Wednesday in May, but we are going to take the month of June off. So prepare your hearts now. Maybe June is just going to be super crazy. So I was going
Yeah,
to say
for
maybe we could
sure.
try to do a live book club, but I can't even promise that. But exciting news, when we come back in July, a lot of our episodes, I don't even know how many will be about getting ready for school and homeschooling and all that kind of fun stuff. We
Yeah.
might even have surprise guests.
Yay!
Maybe our oldest kids will talk about their
Yes.
experiences. So we've got a lot of fun stuff planned for July. We're just going to take really the month of June off to record. We're not
Yeah.
taking it off, but anyway, so something to look forward to. But just we haven't said yet, so I'm announcing it now for the first time. So we have the month of May episodes, but then we will have nothing going on in June. So
Yeah.
on YouTube. So
On YouTube. Yeah.
but thank you for listening to us rattle off these books again. And we'll see you next time. Bye.
Bye, guys. And we
I'm
both
just
read
laughing because we've talked about this book so many times now at this point. Okay, go ahead.
Okay. We read